So Gabriel Magalhaes getting that all-important goal for Arsenal Football Club. Nothing matters to Arsenal like beating their rivals Tottenham. Echo, quick thoughts on that game. Arsenal winning, Partey contributing his bit. Today he suffered a little in the counter-attacks. I saw his legs are gone.
So when you go to the 75th minute, it was time.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think now I understand why people don't read Spurs. I think, listen, this is an Arsenal team that was...
Angie doesn't think so, to be
Exactly. No, I mean, this is an Arsenal team that Arteta even described as depleted.
If Arteta will not want to play a Partey Jorginho pivot
never.
until it's an absolute necessity.
Exactly. And at a point, Jorginho was even struggling.
Yeah.
You look at even Solanke was dropping to crash him down to win balls from him, and still Spurs couldn't win this game.
Yeah.
And for me, I think that it's very worrying because this is a Spurs team that had all his players fit in going into the game.
Full strength
yeah,
squad.
yeah. And I think that when Bentancur was sub and then when Sak came on, I think he brought some form of energy. But I think that Arsenal, this is the third time they are trying to take the trophy off from Manchester City. I think that they look a bit like a stable team, especially their defense. That back four, solid defense. And I think now I understand the reason why Arsenal brought in Timber. And last season they missed him.
Yeah, he almost feels like a new signing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that I watched him against Brighton and today as well. I think he's an excellent player. And I think Timber, White, Gabriel, and then the French international Saliba, that back four, Ben, very, very
the best defense in the league.
Exactly, it's very, very difficult to break them down, and I think that for Arsenal and beating Spurs for a third consecutive season, Spurs have not been able to beat them, and I think that
are losing their mind.
Exactly, and I think that for me, I think for Arsenal, it's a very good win for them.
It is
because going all the way to Spurs.
Their next game is against Manchester
City with not your best player in the name of Odegaard, and then your best, central defender, or probably your
best DM.
DM. In the name of Declan Rice, and you have still been able to beat your, London, North London rivals. That's a huge point for Mikel Arteta. And so for me, I think that massive points for Arsenal. We just have to sit back, watch how they are going to play against Manchester City. But for Spurs and Postecoglou, it's a shame watching them today.
Dennis?
Yeah. It's for me from an Arsenal point of view, great win. They're going to miss City next week, and they had to win this game. They were very pragmatic, like the last game at the same venue last season.
Yeah.
Very pragmatic. They came with an approach. And if you realize, they played very deep today because they didn't want to overly commit because they knew that Spurs were going to, and they allowed Spurs to have the ball.
And their midfield was not what
exactly because they knew they had deficiencies, so they didn't want to get carried away and push. So they're very, even if you watch Saka, he was not. He most of the time was backing up the right back, and then Martinelli was doing the same thing. And so it was a very cautious approach. In the first half, it was very dull because both teams were very cautious. But you realize Spurs had more of the ball. But that's the issue because they had a lot of decent chances. And I've said, Brendan Johnson seems to. There are times that he makes the very wrong decisions, and he seems to be a very good runner, a good player. But when it comes to taking chances, he's not getting it. And that's the thing about Spurs because there are a lot of those players in there. Because Richarlison himself is one who is very
great until the final or the most important phase of the game.
Exactly. So it's only Son that seems to be ruthless in front of goal. So if it's not Son getting the ball in there, then it's going to be a problem. But there's one issue with Spurs, and I'm surprised that it's still not been solved. We watched last season, the set pieces. They concede so many goals from set pieces, and it's something that came up last season where. If you got to a point where I think Nottingham seems to be the only one with the worst
dead ball
situation. Yeah. So I'm so surprised that you don't manage to solve
Which
that.
Which is crazy because they have some of the tallest centre backs in the league.
Exactly.
Romero, Van der Ven, some of the tallest guys in the league.
So I wonder why they are vulnerable to set pieces, and it's something that's been happening consistently. But there's something I've also realized: Vicario doesn't command his box properly. He seems to be a good shot stopper, but if you watch how he handles those balls in the box. He's always missing. So the moment the defenders don't get the ball, there's a problem. So it's something they really have to watch. And whenever Angie is being asked about this, you know him. He tries to be very deflected, and it's something that is really worrying the team. And if they really want to do really well, they have to solve that problem.
But Ben, a very quick one. When they conceded the goal and when they were trying to find their way back into the game, you saw Arsenal was trying to. They sat a bit deep. They started crossing the ball into the 18.
They went more
constantly Arsenal kept on clearing the ball, and they were still doing the same thing. And I think that they need to find their way out, because if you are losing and you are trying to find your way back into the game, and then your approach is not working, you need to be quick and then.
And it's weird because if you look at Ange's style, it's not a long ball cross into the box style of play until it's desperation time. And so for them to do that, I think that actually smacked of some desperation on Spurs' part. But again, right, I on the bit of Vicario not commanding his area, I find that very interesting, because I'm thinking about it right now, and I'm like, football teams are interesting because Vicario is Italian, and if he doesn't speak a lot of English, then you have Romero, Argentine, and if you know how Argentines are, they are very reluctant to learn English, so he probably will learn a little. They have Dragusin in there, Pedro Porro in there. I'm wondering what kind of language will be going around.
Odogi as well.
Odogi is Italian as well. And so I'm actually wondering how they communicate. Maybe there's football language. Leave the ball for me.
But it helps if there's a universal communication, because if there's a
there has to be. There has to be.
Because if there's a particular medium in which you communicate, then it has, because at this point it looks very distorted. And it's really, as long as Ange continues to deflect it, it's a problem that seems to be coming up all the time. And I feel even for Ange himself, I think that he's had this stubborn approach of being, he wants to play this way, that's how he wants to play.
My way or the highway.
Exactly, and I'm saying that, listen, if you come to the Premier League, trust me, you can't say that this is how you want.
Don't worry, he'll be close to a sack. When he comes close, when he goes on a bad run of results,
I don't think
and the fans begin to call for his head.
He doesn't seem to realize.
No, everybody will get their reality check more. I don't think he's had his reality check yet. When he comes close to it, he will learn sense on whether he has to die by his philosophy or make pragmatic adjustments. We'll see how that plays. Let's move it on to